What is going on, you incredible savages? Welcome to the show. I'm stoked for today, as usual, right? I'm always excited about the show, but today in particular because I'm going to talk about something that I'm seeing a lot recently, and I mean a lot. Everything from, organizations I work with, companies, individuals, you name it. This is prevalent across the board, and so it's one of those things like when I see it this much, it's kind of like screaming in my ears, gotta talk about it. Before I get into that, though, do me a favor, traviscrutcher.com. You know the drill. Please check it out. I did something crazy. You want to know what I did, you guys? I did something no one in my industry does. I put my prices on my website. Can you fucking believe it? No one in this business does that. And it's always kind of irked me a little bit because you got to scroll for 800 years only to get on some bullshit 40-minute discovery call where they're going to try and sell you some shit you don't actually want. So I just put them right on the website, right? You go to the facts page. It's the number one thing on the page now because it's so important to me not to waste your time and be transparent. So if you want to check that out, if you've ever been curious, like what does it cost? Now you can just go there and find out and not waste any time. What else? Social, follow me there. I actually interact. It's crazy. I'm one of those weird people that actually talks to people through social. So if you want to hit me up, go for it. What else? I don't know. I think that's it, man. I'm going to shut up so I can thereby talk some more.
Welcome to Not Sorry with Travis Crutcher, the show where Travis will say some things that might trigger you, offend you, make you laugh, or even motivate you. So, if you're not easily offended, stick around and enjoy. On the other hand, if you are easily offended, listen anyway. Then go tell everyone how triggered you were. Either way, you can be certain of one thing. Travis is not sorry.
All right, here we go. So the topic for today, in case you haven't already figured that out from the title, we're going to talk about burnout. And I'm seeing this across the board, man. Whether you're in leadership, like in the corporate sense, or you're just a leader in your home, you're a leader in your scout troop, I don't give a shit, right? You're a leader in some capacity. And burnout is hitting leaders hardcore right now. I mean hardcore across the board. And here's what sucks, dude. And it's something that people don't really talk about when it comes to burnout. It fucking sneaks up on you big time. And here's what happens, right? It's always when you're crushing it. You're doing all the things, you're hitting every goal, you're kicking all the ass, and then boom, right? The bottom drops out. You feel like you just don't want to get out of bed. You can't focus on anything. You don't really give a shit about anything anymore. Everything that used to excite you, right, feels kind of like a burden. And why? Well, in short, something I discovered with my own journey here, you're not actually living your life. And I've been there, man, and it sucks big time. So I want to talk about why burnout happens when you think you're winning and what you can actually do about it, okay? And so the first thing is what I call the burnout paradox, right? Here's the thing about burnout. It doesn't happen when you're struggling, okay? It happens when you think you're succeeding. Okay, you're not burned out when you're starting out and grinding and to get the traction, all that stuff, right? Because you're energized, you're motivated, you're hungry. You get burned out when you've been grinding for months or years in some cases without stopping. When you've been in constant execution mode, when you've been saying yes, listen to me now, when you've been saying yes to everything and no to nothing, it sneaks up on you. It sneaks up on you because all the external markers say you're winning. Your business is growing, right? Your team is expanding, revenue's up, calendar's fucking full, people are calling you successful, it's wonderful. And you believe them and you think, I'm fucking crushing it, man. I'm doing all the things, I am making it happen. But the truth, right, internally, you're running on fumes, dude. You're exhausted, you're disconnected from everything, you're going through the motions and you don't even realize it until the bottom drops out, right? And one day, man, you wake up and you just can't do it anymore. You can't answer another email. You can't take another meeting. You can't make another fucking decision. Everything that used to drive you now drains you. Everything that used to excite you now feels like an obligation. Guess what? That's burnout, okay? And it's not a sign of weakness, okay? It's a sign that you've been operating in an unsustainable way for far too long. And so why does it happen, right? And why does it happen to leaders specifically? Because it happens to everybody, but leaders really get hit with this. And it's because it's different than regular employee burnout, right? Because first, you're always on, right? There is no clock out time if you're a serious leader. There's no, that's not my job bullshit. Everything is your job. And it never, ever stops, okay? Secondly, the weight of responsibility. You're not just responsible for yourself, You're responsible for your team, for your clients, for your business, your family. And that weight is constant. Okay? You're the problem solver. Everyone comes to you with their issues. You're making decisions all day, every day. Decision fatigue is real, my friends. It's real, and it can be fucking exhausting. You sacrifice yourself first. Hear me. I know you hear this one. When something has to give, it's always your needs. Your sleep, your health, your relationships, your downtime. Those are the first things to go. It doesn't matter how hard you put them in your calendar. They're gone. Right? And you tie your identity to productivity. You measure your worth by what you accomplish. So stopping, right? Stopping it all, it just feels like failing. And the other thing is you don't have anyone checking on you. Your team has you. Your family has you. But who's checking to make sure you're okay? And I've been there, and usually the answer is nobody. And here's the core issue, man. You're not actually living your life. You're executing tasks. You're hitting goals. You're managing responsibilities. But you're not present. You're not enjoying anything. You're not connected to why you started any of this shit in the first place. You're just a machine, dog. You're just a machine running on programs. And machines, they break down. They break down when they run too long without maintenance, okay? And there's warning signs, but we all miss them. We all miss them, right? So let's talk about what are the actual warning signs of burnout that most leaders ignore until it's way too late, okay? First off, everything feels like an obligation, right? Everything that you used to love, right, feels like items on a to-do list. Or you're irritable all the time. Little things, right? I've been there, man. Little things set you off. You have no patience. You snap at people who don't deserve it. Or maybe you can't focus because your mind is just constantly scattered. You're in meetings, thinking about other meetings. You're with family, thinking about work, right? You're exhausted, but you can't sleep. Been there, right? Who can feel that one? Like you're physically drained, but your brain just won't shut off, right? And some folks, like you just stop taking care of yourself altogether, right? You're not working out. You're eating like shit. You're not doing anything that recharges you. and one that hit me all the time is you're cynical. You used to be this optimistic person, excited, passionate. Now you're just going through the motions, right? Or what about this one? Fantasizing about escaping, right? You think, what would it be like to just walk away from everything? If you're experiencing these or multiples of these, you're not just tired, dude. You're burned out. You're burned out, and it's okay. And here's what most leaders do. They ignore it. I did. I ignored it for a long time, right? We push through, tell ourselves that, we'll rest after this project or after this quarter or after this launch. But there's always another project, another quarter, another launch, and the burnout gets worse and worse and worse. And I keep saying it, but it's true, guys. I've been there. Thinking I was crushing it while I was actually destroying myself, believing that constant execution somehow was equivalent to excess while I was losing connection to everything that actually mattered. And when the bottom dropped out, it dropped out fucking hard, dude. Everything I'd been ignoring, my health, my relationships, my mental state, all this shit came crashing down at once. And that's what happens. That's what happens when you don't address burnout. It doesn't get better on its own. It gets worse until something forces you to stop. So we're going to talk about a strategy, and it's not the end all be all, right? It's one solid strategy that will help you beat burnout. Like I said, it's not the one and only, but it'll definitely help. It'll definitely help. Here's the catch though, if you actually do it, okay? And I do this one, the weekly non-negotiable reset, man. Here's how it works. First step, pick your day and time. Just do it, damn it. Pick one specific day and time each week that is completely off limits for work. No, none of that, I'll try to take time off or I'll do it when things slow down bullshit. A specific, scheduled, non-negotiable block of time. For most people, this is like 4 to 6 hours on a weekend, but it could be a weekday or it could be an evening, whatever works for your schedule, okay? Number 2, define what reset means for you. This is not time to catch up on emails. This is not time to plan next week. This is time to actually recharge. So ask, what actually recharges you? Not what you think should recharge you, but what actually does. For some people like me, it's being alone, right? For others, it's being with people they love. For some, it's being active. For others, it's doing absolutely nothing, okay? Some folks, go be creative. For other folks, be in nature, right? Touch grass, dog. Figure out what actually fills your tank and do that. Number 3, you have to communicate it. Tell your team, your family, your clients, whoever needs to know this time is off limits. So every Saturday from 9 to 2, I'm unavailable unless it's a literal emergency. Then I'll respond after 2, okay? Set the boundary clearly, so people know not to expect you. And number 4, you've got to protect this shit ruthlessly and from yourself, right? This is where most people fail. They schedule the time, but then let other things take priority, right? Just this one meeting, just this one call, just this one email. No, not this one anything. Protect this time like your life depends on it, because you'll never guess what. It does. And step 5, actually disconnect. Turn off the notifications. Put your phone in another room. Close your laptop. Whatever it takes to actually be present for your reset time. Because you cannot recharge if you're still connected to work, okay? Your brain needs a complete break. And then the last step, right? Evaluate weekly. At the end of each week, ask yourself, did I actually protect my reset time? Did I actually recharge? What do I need to adjust, right? And if you skipped it, shame on you, but why? What can you do differently next week to make sure it happens? This isn't complicated, guys. It's simple, but simple does not ever mean easy, right? The hard part is actually doing it, actually protecting the time, actually disconnecting, because every part of you, I promise you, every part of you will want to skip it when things get busy. Every part of you will say, I don't have time for this right now. But that's exactly when you need it the most, okay? Here's why this works, okay? It works because, 1, it gives you something to look forward to. You need that shit. When you know you have recharge time coming here, it is much easier to push through the hard stuff, okay? Think about it. When you were a kid, you had something to look forward to. It made school and all that other shit easier. 2, it breaks the cycle of this constant execution, right? You're not running on empty for weeks or months. You're refilling your tank regularly. 3rd, it reminds you that you're a human. You're a human. You're not a machine, okay? You need rest, connection, joy, not just productivity. It's important because sometimes we forget, right? It also prevents the bottom from dropping out, man. Regular maintenance prevents catastrophic failure. It's very simple, okay? It makes you better at everything else. Everything else. When you're recharged, dude, you're more focused, more creative, more patient, more effective. I talk about this all the time in workshops. It models healthy leadership too, man. Your team is watching you. And when you prioritize your well-being, it gives them permission to prioritize their. Because look, man, here's the truth. Okay, you cannot lead effectively if you're burnt out. You can't make good decisions when you're exhausted. You can't inspire your team when you're just running on empty. Okay? Taking care of yourself isn't selfish. So brain dump that shit right now. It's necessary. And this reset is one way to do that consistently, but only if you actually do it. Only if you protect it. Only if you make it as important as every other commitment on your calendar. Because burnout doesn't care how successful you are, all right? It doesn't care how much you're accomplishing. It will take you down if you don't address it. I've been there. It sucks, and I don't want that for you, okay? So please, I'm saying please. I never say please. Schedule your reset time. Protect it. Actually do it, okay? Your business will survive. Your team will be fine. The world, I assure you, will keep spinning, and you'll be better equipped to lead because you're taking care of yourself. Last thing I'll say, okay? Bottom line, burnout sneaks up on people. When we think we're kicking all the ass, it hits us right when we think we're winning. Why? Because like I said at the top, man, you're not actually living your life. You're just executing tasks. I've been there. It sucks, okay? So use this reset thing, man. Schedule it, protect it, actually frickin' do it. And like I said, it's not the only solution out there, but it will definitely help if you actually commit to it, because you can't lead effectively if you're burnout. You can't create impact if you run on empty. So take care of yourself, man. Not someday, okay? Not that someday bullshit you tell yourselves, not when things slow down, right frickin' now. Cool? Awesome. If you dug this, do me a solid, share it with somebody else who needs to hear it, and I will talk to you savages next time. Later.